The evolution of your marketing will be the catalyst for the evolution of your business, and the evolution of your business will provide you with the freedom to focus on the evolution of your life. This is Evolved Marketing with Andre and Brian.
Welcome back to another episode of Evolved Marketing Podcast. Me and my co-host Brian Brewer are super excited to have our guest on today's episode. But before we get started, I want to share a story about me and my wife. So my wife always had a goal, right? To stay at home, be a stay-at-home mom. And that has been her goal for a long time. But I have not been able to accomplish that, even though I have been super successful with affiliate marketing. Maybe I've been just doubting myself. Maybe I'm scared of having all the pressure. But I always knew there were some steps that we had to take to get to that point. So year after year, I have been checking off a lot of our goals. And eventually, this was going to be the next big goal for me and my family. Well, guess what? The time has come. Not saying that I'm ready or that I'm not scared, but I have realized that I know my worth more than ever before. And when I set my mind to something, I would do anything to accomplish it. So yeah, I'm super excited about this new chapter in our lives. And to introduce our guest today, she's a stay-at-home mom of 3 girls and has been doing affiliate marketing for a little over 6 months now. I think it's 7 months now. And has generated over $250,000 in commissions paid to her. I mean, that just blows my mind. If you know my story, it took me 6 months to just make 10K. And she has done multiple 6 figures already. So it's like, wow. Well, she has a unique way to find her target audience. I'm talking about all the moms out there. I'm sure you have seen or come across her content. So without further ado, please help me welcome Emily Walcott, aka Em the Affiliate.
Hello.
How you doing?
Thank you for having me. That was a nice intro. I'm excited for your wife too.
Thank you. I know it's super new for us, but I mean, I'm excited. We just have to get into a routine, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's not like butterflies and rainbows at the beginning always. But it is so worth it. And you see it like unfolds in all different areas, especially like I feel like the older your kids get too. So
exactly.
Yeah, your daughter will love it. So
yeah, that's the main goal. I mean, we're trying to like grow our family too, right? So hopefully that will get us closer to that point as well. So
yeah.
let's start from the beginning. I mean, what made you start an online business in the first place?
So I don't know if like a lot of people know this, but I actually started like a MLM previously, and I was doing like makeup and things like that. And I wasn't bad at it. It was just the fact like it wasn't a part of my real life. Like I was a stay-at-home mom. I was in a messy bun and not getting ready. So I started that and I did okay with it. But I was like, I don't have the time for this. Like I can't be messaging people constantly and doing like all this different stuff that it encompassed. So when I saw affiliate marketing, I kind of sat on it for a while, but I was like, if you truly can do this and have time freedom, that's exactly what I want. So I watched it for a while, and honestly, in the process of watching it, we own a concrete company, and with the economy and everything going on, I had kind of tried to step home because before this, I was a recreational therapist, and we realized like all of our extras, we just couldn't do anymore. And so with the company and with me slowing down, we realized like either I get another job and leave the home or I find something that works. And that's where I kind of found affiliate marketing. Truly, I found it from someone talking about it online. I had no idea what it was or how to do it. But it definitely piqued my interest. And once I went all in, I was completely sold on it.
Well, you went all in, and obviously have seen, as Andre alluded to, some pretty massive success, which is amazing. You know, I'm sure a lot of that is thanks to the amount of reach that you can get on some of the short form content platforms and other social media platforms these days. But before we kind of talk into specific strategies and get into that, you know, I'd love to hear, what is it about the transition from MLM to affiliate marketing that made sense for you, that really relieved a lot of the stresses that you did have? Because we see a lot of people who are in MLM, a lot of times it's their first foray into social media marketing, and it can work. It obviously is a business model that's proven, and you can rise to the top. But what was it for you that made affiliate marketing more appealing, easier, more doable? And then also, if you could, after that, just kind of tell us some of the similar marketing strategies that apply to both different opportunities, if you will.
Yeah, I think the big thing for me was there's always new product launches, and I feel like you really have to sell that. And I truly feel like with affiliate marketing, you're promoting something, and if it's something that you truly believe in, there is no need to do sales because that's already taken care of so well with the company that you're promoting with. Whereas I feel like with MLMs, like you are constantly selling, and I think automating the process is way harder because you have like everybody's different. There's so many different products that you're trying to have people purchase, but every person is getting different things. And I think that is really hard. That's where you have to constantly be in the DMs. You have to constantly be following their lives and their story. So if you want to scale that, it's very, very time consuming. And so I think for me with affiliate marketing, I feel like it is scalable, and it's something that I've kind of got the automation of it down to a science, as well as I'm not like hunting people out. I have a very specific client or target audience that I'm looking for, and they find me. And I think that is very difficult in the world of network marketing because there's just so many different products that people are pushing that like you have to help people sift through those things. Whereas with affiliate marketing, if you're doing a really good job with it, people are already looking for exactly what you're offering.
Affiliate marketing, we have an unbelievable advantage in the sense that A, we don't have to guess, we can see what's working and model it, but B, we can let those companies out there that are great affiliate partners that have their processes dialed in, that are in demand, we can let them make the noise, and then we can just ride the wave.
Yes, exactly. I truly feel like if you find something that you really enjoy and you want to grow with that in affiliate marketing, you can. There's so many different avenues of scaling and growing. But I also feel like for the person that is jumping into MLM, 9 times out of 10, they're doing it because they want that extra income. And I feel like that doesn't come until you scale it. But I feel like with affiliate marketing, if you do it right and you work hard and you test and you figure out what's working well, like I don't think you have to instantly like scale your whole process. I think you can refine your process. I don't think you have to scale it as quickly as you do in something like network marketing to really find success there.
It blows my mind how many people don't know about affiliate marketing, right? Like it's honestly like the best, it's the best side hustle that anybody can start. Like you literally don't need a product. You don't have to worry about customer service. You don't have to worry about shipping or handling refunds. So I know you target a lot of moms, right? Like that's your target audience, right?
I specifically target stay-at-home moms.
Stay-at-home moms. And then in what kind of content are you creating to like capture those people?
I think I'm just super direct. I think people get very scared to do that. They get very scared to niche down their audience. And for me, I was my target client. So I think of that all the time. What made me look at it? What made me stop? Why did I want to get into this? And so I feel like I talk directly to that person. I am in my sweats. I look like what the person that most likely is looking or watching my videos. I emulate that and I show my daily life. And I think that's kind of where I'm different, as in like a lot of my videos are me talking. A lot of my videos I have household things around me. I'm in different settings. I'm out with my kids, or I'm at my house, or I'm in my car. So I feel like I really, truly, my content is based authentically in my real life. So when I'm talking to my stay-at-home mom, I'm making sure that like I am being as true and authentic, and I always check. I'm like, would I have stopped and looked at that? Or like, is that something that is truly possible for the people that are watching my content? So I think that's really where I focus on, is just making it very, very authentic and real, 100% real. I'm an open book, and I've always been that way. And so many people don't bring that into their affiliate marketing. And I feel like that is so helpful.
Yeah. So just to kind of clarify for any listeners who are jumping in and maybe don't know the background, you're an affiliate marketer right now. And I don't say that lightly. You're crushing it right now. You are on top of the leaderboard, and I think have been for a little while now, for one of the biggest affiliate marketing and marketing education programs. So what you have done is you've taken an affiliate marketing education program that you believed in, and you've gone through the process, and now you are turning around and sharing this with other people. And you're sharing it with your specific demographic, your target market, who are kind of like you or maybe exactly like you. And you're basically the person who's already gone through the journey and then kind of returning back and saying, all right, guys, I found this thing. Here's what we can do, right?
Yes, that's exactly it. And it's totally a rinse and repeat system. So if anyone that is, I feel like, in affiliate marketing, for me, it's like there is so much opportunity out there for any products in the affiliate marketing field, that like if I wanted to go through and say, okay, what are, I have my client target audience of stay-at-home moms. If they aren't interested in what it is that I'm offering, I know 10 other things that they would probably be interested in, and how can I then use that? So it really is rinse and repeat what I'm doing, and I truly believe in that. But yeah, I went through the process. I had no idea what it was, and I threw myself in every piece of education I could. I listened to every podcast I could. Anything I didn't understand, I spent all my nights researching it and figuring out what it was. And then I went back and was like, hey, this is possible, and I will show you exactly how to do it. And I think to do affiliate marketing well, especially if you are doing something like a course or things like that, you truly have to be able to answer all the questions, and hit all the, what can I say? You need to be able to all
Kind of
the
look at the
naysayers.
objections, or
Yes, you need to hit them head on. I have no problem with anything like that. Any objections with whatever it is that you're promoting. You want to be answering those before people even ask you those. You want that in your content. You want them to scroll through and be like, "Oh, that's the one thing that was holding me back," and then already have it answered, because that makes you already look 10 times more confident in what it is that you are promoting.
yeah, if you're promoting something like a course, what I always say is, if you can get inside the conversation that's already going on inside of their head, you win. I mean, you got them at that point. They're bonded to you. They trust you. They're like, this is my guy, or this is my girl. And it's weird if you can overcome an objection if you can simply state an objection sometimes before people have the chance to voice it as an objection, you can almost automatically overcome it. So really quickly, I took a quick look at your content, and I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about specific strategies as well. But, when I'm looking through your content, I'm seeing, like you said, you're in your kitchen, you're getting a bowl from the cupboard, you're with your kids. And one thing that really jumped out at me is I saw a couple of videos where you're sitting there at the start of the video drinking from your Stanley cup, right? And to me, I'm like, oh, that's my wife, who happens to also be a stay-at-home mom. Like, how much is that is intentional? Or is it all just kind of like, I'm just putting my authentic self out there and attracting the right people? Is it a combination, be honest? Or is it just happen naturally?
Oh, I'm very strategic in my content. I am. And I think a lot of people think I get lucky with my content, but content is, when people say, the one thing that people say about affiliate marketing and not having a following, which is really important, learning to drive traffic, that's what it is. Like, you just build it, but you build it strategically. So I do in my content, like, I'm 9 times out of 10 not going to put if I am all dolled up and ready to go out on a date night. You're not going to see that in my content. You are going to see me in the kitchen in the mornings when it's rough. And I do that for a purpose because those people like want to feel like you connect with them. Or just like you said with the Stanley, well, that was a big thing on that platform. And so there was a lot of people that even just in trends had Stanleys or were talking about Stanleys. So if you put that out there, when they see that, that instantly is going to attract them to you. So there's a lot of things like that that I do. Coffee mugs, people, that's actually a big thing. People love different coffee mugs, and reading coffee mugs on things like that. So yeah, that is something that I do a lot. The washing of the dishes, stuff that is mundane that people do repetitively, it instantly makes them feel comfortable with you. So it is a strategy.
That's awesome.
And I will say though, it is very authentic because that's what I do. I mean, that's really what I do. And I think that's the power of content. Anyone that's creating content, I think they miss that. Is the biggest thing that I've heard is you should be filming your everyday life. Like when every single morning I film something, whether that's me making breakfast for my kids, whether that's me drinking coffee, whether that's me doing my makeup, I film I film something out of my daily life. I don't know when I'll use it, but I film it. So you have to document your life, and that should be your content creation.
I hope everybody actually listened to that and heard that, because you're literally just living your life. Like you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing every single day. And you're just adding one extra step, which is literally just recorded, basically, right? And then you're making so much money just by basically doing you. So you're not going out of your way to like do trending stuff or nothing. You're just literally just posting about your life, and then you're making so much money. That's crazy.
Yes. I mean, and I think what happens too is a lot of people with their products get very focused on when they are promoting whatever it may be, staying specific in that niche. But I will say when you have so for me, if I'm looking at my target client as stay-at-home moms, I also want to look at some other things that are going on in that space. So whether that's talk about Stanley Cups, whether that's talk about Taylor Swift album dropping, whether that's talk about, and then saying, okay, those are what's going on, and how does that fit into my life? Like authentically, how does that fit into my life? Okay, well, I have one of those cups, so I can use it in my videos, or I used to listen to that music, so I can talk about listening to it in 2000, whatever. Like people have to be able to find things that are trending though and make it fit into their demographic.
Yeah, so maybe we can kind of expand on that a little bit, because I think this is what people struggle with. So I'm not talking about you specifically, I'm talking about me, I'm talking about everyone. You know, if we get into a habit of recording our daily life and just sharing our personal stories and stuff like that, obviously you've shown how powerful that is in attracting, right? And building that trust and building that bond and getting your potential leads and potential customers to see themselves in you, right? All super important. It's really the X factor. It's your unique advantage that you absolutely are just crushing it with. And that's why you've gotten the results. Like you said, it's not work. But how do you transition to the message that leads to the product? Because let's be honest, no one really gives a shit about us, but they do because we can offer them something, right? Is that fair? And if so, how do you make that transition with attracting with your daily life, but then transitioning into not the offer, but the introduction to the potential of what you're selling?
I think that people get, and I can say even how I started, not that people want to become you, but people that follow you do want to become that lifestyle. And so for me, I am very intentional. Every single one of my videos have a clear and anywhere I drive traffic, I have a clear and concise message of what I want someone to do. Whether that's I want them to like it, I want them to share it, I want them to go to my Instagram and comment there. That is very intentional. But I also think this is a big thing that people completely miss. And they think that there is not a community or some sort of, community online or even in short form video. And there is. So I have a lot of community in my short form videos, in my comments, in other women that are supporting women in the comments. I think really that's where you transition it. You have to be in response mode. So like how I feel like I convert so well is 9 times out of 10, I have someone come back on all my short form videos and say, hey, like I'm doing what you showed. I absolutely love it. Thanks for sharing that. And that's completely organic. I'm not asking them to do that. They are doing that. But now I've learned to utilize that and say, hey, if you're doing what I am promoting, make sure you go and like my last TikTok and comment on there. So I also take my traffic and I put them into a Facebook group. I think that's super huge. I also do a lot of voice messaging. That's really big. So I get people off any platforms where you can't do that. So I move them from, let's say I'm on TikTok and I tell them to go to my Instagram. I'm never going to copy and paste. I'm only going to voice response to them because that's probably 5% of my traffic's actually going to move over. And if they are moving over, I want to become the next step of authentic. And then that's where if they move into my Facebook group, then I'm super authentic because I'm going live there. So that is kind of how I flow that way. And I do follow up with people that share their story or things like that. And I feel like people really pay attention to that when I pay attention.
That makes a lot of sense. That when you when you give something like personalized, then it's like they feel like they can trust you even more. You know, like what Brian does when somebody talks to him about like any questions. Brian does like a Loom video, right? So he's actually showing them like step by step how to do it. And when people see that, you know, it makes them feel like, okay, this guy actually wants to help me, right? So then you build your rapport even better like that. Since you target a lot of since you target a lot of moms, right? I guess one common objection that you will get is, you know, maybe they have to talk to their husband or their partner first before they jump into this. And I'm not saying that moms don't have, you know, stay-at-home moms don't have money, right? Like, or income coming in, but I'm sure that's one of the most common, you know, objections that you get, right? Oh, let me talk to my husband first or my partner. How do you deal with that kind of objection? Like, what do you tell them?
I actually got this from a tip, and I wish I knew her name. And I got it when I was at a mastermind, actually, the one in Boise. But I love this, and it says you can always agree on like the common ground. And that's like even with me and my husband or a spouse or a partner, if they're trying to jump into affiliate marketing, there's a reason for that. And I'm sure you're both going to agree on that. I mean, our reason was we were broke, and people like cringe when I say that. And I don't cringe. I don't care. So it's like you can go to your spouse and find the common ground. Do you want to be home more with your kids? Do you want to be able to go on luxury vacations with your husband and you're not doing that? Like, what is the common reason? And if you can start there, start at the middle ground of something you know that both of you would want to benefit from, then you should be able to move forward with it, and they'll see the worth in that.
You know, you talked a little bit earlier about community, you know, and how important that is, and how, like you said, the reason I convert so well, because, right, we can drive traffic, but really the money comes from the conversion. We have to facilitate the sale in order to make the money, right? We have to get people to convert. Money comes from other people. We have to get people to buy things. You know,
Yep.
and that community is what really, I think, helps also propel people further. And I think that's a lot of times what you don't see as the value when you're considering buying into a course or into a program. Yeah, the information is there, but you kind of become part of that community. And it's almost like you're buying your way into a network. which is super powerful. And I think that network is kind of the catalyst to success, in addition to obviously the information. And you see that a lot. Like if I think about like digital marketers, I think, there's a lot of digital marketers in the Austin area. There's a lot of digital marketers that are kind of migrating up to Boise, I think, because of ClickFunnels. It seems like there's a lot of people in Orlando who are in the digital marketing space. There's a lot of people also kind of in Dallas and in Texas in general. But what surprised me is who knew that Western Michigan is a hotbed for affiliate marketers. So you live about 30 minutes south of where I grew up. I grew up in Spring Lake, Michigan. I won't reveal where you grew up, but not too far away from that. And the time that we're recording this, it's starting to turn to winter in Michigan. So I want to know, now that you've gone on and made $250,000 in six months or so, have you taken that luxury vacation yet? Do you have one on the books? Are you getting away from the snow anytime soon? What's planned?
Well, I will say we had a goal of cracking 300K, and I did that last week. And
congratulations!
I did that. We are, I should say quietly, but we have a Disney trip planned.
Ooh.
So, yeah,
the kids are going to go crazy.
So that is going to be our big. Yeah, that's going to be our big thing. And we're really excited for that, because if you would have told me that 7 months, I would have literally laughed in your face to think that was a possibility. So yeah, I mean, other than that though, to be honest, for me, the luxury or the benefit of affiliate marketing or any marketing, it is hard work. It really is. And I don't think anyone thinks that I actually put in like the work, because I am so light and fluffy probably in my content, but I do. But for me, being able to do it on my own time is like, that is my luxury. Like I can wake up late and I can drink my coffee and I can be at home. But if I want to work hard at night, I can do that. And I think that is the best part about marketing. You truly can do it when you want to do it. And there is that community. Like there's podcasts, there's masterminds, once you get into digital marketing, like I had no idea what any of it was, but once you get into it, you're like, whoa, people are doing this. This is like a thing. Like, and people are very successful in it. And I feel like you don't see that until you're in that community. And that's kind of what I wanted to grow on my own too, is I wanted to grow a community of moms that had no idea that this was possible, and then really actually have them do it and be successful in it. And so I have to train myself to be able to help others do that. But it's been wild to see just the progression of all of that. It really is possible if someone's willing to put in the work and get started. It truly is. The opportunity is endless.
I mean, it sounds like you're taking all the right steps to get to that point. I mean, your business has exploded. You recently got invited, right, to be at a mastermind, to be a speaker for Legendary Marketer.
Yes.
So me and Brian have done that in the past.
Yep.
How do you feel about it?
I'm a little nervous, to be honest. That's completely outside of my comfort zone, but I continue to tell myself when I started this, I said, no matter what, I'm not going to quit 6 months into it. I'm going to give myself that. And I'm going to say yes to every opportunity. Not thinking that there was going to be opportunities that make me super uncomfortable, but I am really excited about it. I'm speaking on storytelling, which is my passion. And I think it's highly underestimated in this space. But no matter what your product is, there is a story, or there's a story to the person that's attached to that product. And it's super important. So I think if before I was presenting on something like my previous occupation, I probably would be nervous and scared. But I'm so passionate and on fire about what I do that I think it'll be okay.
So can you give us
Yeah,
I was gonna say, I think we're gonna ask the same question. So can you give us a little preview, or I know people have to pay $4,500 to be at that mastermind, but we won't tell anybody. I mean, nobody watches this podcast anyway. So can you give us a little preview of like what you're gonna teach, or an example of how you weave storytelling into your marketing?
Yeah, I think with anything that you're marketing, there's three different things that you need to look in. You need to look in the past, the present, and the future. So you need to look at what was happening in the past to make this product become a problem. And then what in the present is making that product a forefront in that person's life. And what in the future is going to come from the use of that product. So that's like my main basis is breaking those down and finding 5 pillars in each of those areas and building from each of those pillars. And when you're creating content, I think that you should focus on one day of past, one day of present, one day of future, and a lifestyle post. And you should stay very consistent with those. And I think you truly, I was just talking to someone the other day about a dog subscription company. And you can use that in that too. Like you can really use that anywhere, no matter what you're pushing, because even if it's a product, there is a person attached to that product. There's someone that's purchasing that product, and they all have those 3 things. So if you can just take that and break that down and use it in every facet of your marketing and your email list, in your content creation, all of that, I think it's gold, honestly.
I like it. So when you're talking about a pillar inside each of those, is that like could you expand on that as like a talking point or like a specific example, or what would you consider a pillar, just to kind of clarify for everyone who's listening?
So I would say, like, let's say I can use me as an example, but like in your past. So in your past, like there's things that went on. So for me, in my past, I was a recreational therapist. So I always say there's like a pain point. There's experience or something that was good. And then there was something that you wanted. So for example, like for me, I was really excited when I graduated college. That was my exciting pillar. Like the pillar for me, that was exciting. I loved it. I loved what I did, and I was good at what I did. But in that experience, I still was not making what I wanted, and it wasn't as beneficial as I thought it was going to be. I wasn't getting the hours that I wanted. So that's like kind of the experience pillar. I would say in my past, the pain of missing out on a lot of stuff. My husband was working all the time. He's working 80 hours a week. And he really missed my children's first 5 years of their life, to be honest. He did concrete. He was a veteran. He was gone all the time, and it was hard. So there's the pain part of the past. And you can branch that out. Is your husband a veteran? Does he, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's different branches there. Just like with my positive experience. Do you love your career, but it's not paying off? I get you. I was there. So I always do like a pain point, an experience, or like future. I always knew that I wanted to do something entrepreneurial. Even when I went to school, I didn't act on it because no one told me that it was going to be beneficial. No one wants to tell you to take the risk. And I speak about that. So then, like, you know, doing the same 3 steps in the present, you know, doing what is your pain point now? What is a wonderful experience? So my experience right now is kind of being in this world of digital marketing. And then in the future, same thing. In the future, my pain point might be getting really overwhelmed and not knowing how to grow this, but remembering how far you've came. And you can use that right now, as in if you've made 1 sale online, that is really awesome. But it's okay to be frustrated that you haven't went farther. Like, so, and then like experience, I talk about that a lot. Like what I hope for this to bring for our family. I hope that we are traveling a lot all the time in our future, you know? So that's kind of how I break that down. So there's 3 points in there, and then you break those down farther. So it really is kind of like a web, like a family tree, but of storytelling.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thanks for sharing that. That's super helpful, I think, to a lot of people. And I know I was over here feverishly taking notes as well. So past, present, future, you know, you started off, you needed this thing, you know, I can relate a lot with your story, not only because, you know, I grew up not far from where you live now, but when I was a much younger man, or I did concrete for a little while as well. So I know how hard that can be. You know, luckily I was still single. So no one cared if I was gone all day, but you know, you use that pain as a motivation to transition, and now you're in an amazing place. Which obviously I'm sure, there's still pitfalls in your daily life, just like everybody, there's always going to be amazing things and struggles that happen. But as you look toward the future, right, the third leg of this whole storytelling thing, what do you envision the next 6 months or a year is going to look like for you now that you've rocketed to internet affiliate marketing success here?
That is a loaded question, Brian. I will say I've just launched. So I've kind of launched a new thing. I have created a private membership, and that's been really exciting. I do think some of my strong suits are content creation, but also, again, with the storytelling. So I did launch a couple new things. I launched memberships, which is awesome for anyone in the digital marketing space because it is reoccurring, as well as I'm doing like one-to-ones with people. So I'm hoping to grow there. Honestly, I have a couple things that I'm thinking about and working towards. I think there needs to be a space for moms, and it has nothing against any dads out there. I have actually a lot of dads that join my group that are like, I'm a single dad. Is it for dads? And I'm like, yes, it is. I just think there is something to be said in the marketing world for moms, not just like women, but for specific moms. And I think there needs to be an in-between somewhere. So I'm hoping to be that person that bridges that gap, that becomes the face of that in the world of digital marketing. But I will say, and I think this is important, it is a marathon. And I would have never known how important mindset is if I did not start this journey, because there has been days where I don't know what I'm doing, or I'm like, is this all for nothing? Like, there's just days that you get in your head, and you have to push through those. And that's where you're going to find success. So I also think incorporating that too. So many people, like, there's little pieces of that in courses or in teaching modules and stuff like that. But I think even for moms too, who really feel discounted, having something out there where they are daily encouraged too.
It's amazing.
So I would like to maybe.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I would like to maybe create something of my own, but I don't know if I'm ready to speak that into existence yet.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you're ready. And are you ever ready? Well, you're ready when you start, right? But it's just it's so cool, and it's so fitting with the theme that of this podcast. That you started off and you wanted money because you were broke, and you've evolved your business, and now you have the opportunity to evolve your life and evolve the lives of others. And it's just really cool to see in real time here in a pretty short time frame the evolution of your journey and where it's going to go, and that's the beauty. It's so much more than the money or the commissions or the income. Yeah, obviously that's important because it affords you the opportunity, but it's an amazing journey as you progress and get to the next level, huh?
Yeah, it truly is. And I think you just find out so much more of yourself. Like, so many people want to look at people that are doing marketing or in the digital marketing world, and they think it just like evaporates, it's like out of thin air. It just happens, And I went to Boise, and I know you had talked about, if you guys didn't listen to your guys' previous podcast with Mila. It's so good. I was listening to that this morning, but I went to a big event. It was my first event, and I couldn't tell you how many people are like, "Oh, must be really nice. Like, wow, like must have been easy." And I want to like just speak on that for a second, because I guess in my mind I felt like that imposter syndrome, but then I look back, and again, that's why I think your past is so important. I was setting up gymnastic shows in my neighborhood and selling tickets to my neighbors when I was 7 years old. I was doing every lemonade stand possible. I was listening like 5 years ago to Amy, like an online marketing podcast, and I had no business.
Was that Amy Porterfield or?
Yes. Yeah. And I was gravitating to all those things way before I even jumped into this. And that stuff does matter. And so it's like people think it happens, but I truly think it happens for you in the right timing. There's a lot of people that jump in this and they want it to happen right away. And I truly feel like there's a reason for that. You haven't learned enough yet. Or maybe you just don't have the skill set to reach that client audience yet. And once you get all those things and you can really provide that value, that really good value, and really make people be successful in their own right, then it'll all start to flow. It happens at different paces for everybody. And luckily, I am truly blessed that it happened quickly for me. But even when it happens quickly, then you have to pivot. And you have to be like, what's next? How do we evolve? How do we keep moving forward? That's always happening in the world of marketing. So no matter how fast it happens, it's a long game, and you have to be prepared for that.
I know, and Andre has some questions, so I'm going to turn it over to him in just a second. But, I just want to just jump in here really quickly and say, yeah, it happened fast for you. But did it really? I mean, you just mentioned you've been listening to the podcast for 5 years. You've been, you've had that fire for, since you were 7, and it's all that background, right? Of listening in, tuning into those podcasts. Like maybe you didn't act on it right away, but it's the classic story of the overnight success, 7 years in the making or what have you, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Andre. I know you got questions. I don't want to monopolize all of our time here.
No, you know what I was thinking about? A lot of people are entrepreneurs since the point they're born, basically, when they're kids, but they don't know they are entrepreneurs, right? Like I wish there was like a class in school that would teach entrepreneurship, right? Something that to show people that you have an ability, you have a talent, you can use that talent and have your own business or have anything, right? Like when I was growing up, I would sell stuff too, like as in school, like there's kids that they would sell chips, right? And they will go around to their friends and sell chips in school. That's an entrepreneur, like you have a business right there, right? But nobody really, they don't know what they're doing. They're just trying to make some money on the side. And then when at that point they get older, and then they might not even create a business. And then if they do, then they look back like just how you look back. And you're like, wow, I've been an entrepreneur for a long time and I just didn't know it.
Exactly. So. That's so true. That is crazy to say that because we had a kid in school that people would laugh, but he bought vending machines, gumball machines, and he would go around local businesses and put them in there. And that guy right now has so many different crypto and all these wild digital online businesses, so wildly successful. And it's because he didn't listen. I don't even know if I know he got through school, but like he went right into that entrepreneurial space. And good for him, because so many of us wait forever. We let it sit and sit and sit until we finally realize like there is a different way to do this thing called life. And now I pick it up in my kids and I encourage it every single day. They did a lemonade stand. They want to charge $3 a cup. I said, you do you. And they did. They in the middle of a Tuesday afternoon, they made $20-some. And it's like, okay, like let's keep encouraging this. They want to make their own slime and they want to do, it's just, we have to stop taking that creative spirit from people and telling them to fit some box. Like, because this world is really made on entrepreneurs. And I think now that once you get into that space, you realize like how powerful people are in their own right.
Yeah, I always put a quote up for my kids on. We have one of those boards that, you put the letters on it and stuff like that. And it hangs in our kitchen. And usually once every couple of weeks, I change the quote. And the quote that I put up the other day, it was Albert Einstein. It was something along the lines of, everybody's a genius, but if you judge a fish by his ability to climb a tree, he will go his whole life thinking he was stupid. And I put that up and I could just see it resonate with my daughter. Like she was like interested. She wanted to help me find the rest of the letters because she knew the quote from a book that she read. She's 10, but you could tell it was in her mind. She's like, I can tell she doesn't want to fit into this box. And so it's amazing to hear you and other people say like, we don't have to, there's another way to do this thing we call life, right?
Very much so. There's so many different ways. And I think people are really seeing that. And I think that's really why the space of digital marketing is blowing up right now, because people are really starting to shift and be like, do I need this thing called college? And if I don't, there's a wealth of information online. And I really think that's why it's taking off. I mean, I know it's been around forever, but I think people are paying more attention to it now because they're able to see through social media that everybody lives different lives. You don't have to live the life that you were told you should.
Yeah, it has been around for a long time, but it's getting past the innovators and the early adopters, and now it's starting to trickle more into the masses, which is, creates the opportunity for businesses like you've created for yourself.
Yeah.
So what piece of advice can you give somebody brand new into this? They're barely getting their feet wet. What is the biggest advice that you hope you had, I guess, when you first started?
Stay a learner. Continue to learn every day. If you don't know something, figure it out. Not another person is not always going to give you the answer you need because they don't learn the same way you do. So it's actually better if you take the time to really try to figure out maybe something that's difficult for you on your own. So I think stay a learner. I think just doing it, post the content, don't rewatch it, don't criticize yourself, post it and walk away from your phone. No matter what it looks like, it's going to get better. It has to suck at first for it to get better in the future. So don't be so critical of yourself. And stop letting, this is so funny because I know a lot of people have heard this quote before, but really stop letting those people that don't pay your bills or don't provide the lifestyle that you want to affect your future. People will be naysayers. People will not understand it. I don't have a single person that understands besides my husband and my family what I do or even know about what I do, really. And that's okay. I'm okay with just doing what I think I feel called to and continuing with it because I enjoy it. So find whatever is in the digital marketing space that you enjoy and stick with it and don't give up.
I know you mentioned earlier about your neighbors and you probably have, people, I don't know how old are your kids?
I have a 7, 5, and 4-year-old.
Okay. So, the 7-year-old and the 5-year-old are probably both in school.
I actually was able to switch to homeschool now that I do this, but yes, they were in school.
Wow. Congratulations. Was that a big goal for a while or something not a big goal, but something you would in the back of your mind, you wanted to do if you could?
Yeah. My main goal was because I didn't want their creativity to be squashed. My oldest daughter was being told I don't think she's going to pass 3rd grade reading when she was in 1st grade. Don't tell my daughter what she is and is not going to do in life. She will do anything she's made to do. And this journey actually showed me that I could do that. And I started believing it. And then I was able to feel confident enough to move them home. So yeah, that's just kind of another facet of the
That's
story.
Amazing. That's amazing. And such an inspirational story. And you're such a good example from your kids. You know what I mean? Going out there and doing this thing is more important than telling them that they can do anything, because you're showing them that mama can really do anything. And guess what? So can they. And that's how they pick things up. But when you did step out and do this thing, kind of now that, people know who you are and you got a following and you got the money and stuff like that. Was the experience from the outside world, did you see any pushback, or was it mostly people being receptive, or does it truly no one really knows what's going on yet still?
I will say, my people knew I went to Boise, but not anybody knew why I was there or asked me what I was doing. Not that it's taboo, but I do think again, I think people are that's weird. How is she able to be home and make this kind of money? Is that a real thing? And instead of asking about it, people just kind of skirt it under the rug and never say anything. I've never had, I don't think anybody, maybe besides my one sister-in-law, ask me about it or what it is that I do. Everyone's curious. But yeah, I've had a couple people actually stop me when I was out. Are you on TikTok? Is it real? And I'm yeah, it's real. And then they message me and they're oh my gosh, I took I took what you promote and I'm loving it. Like, do you want to get coffee and come help me? So it's funny because it's like the people that get it, and the people that don't get it, don't get it. And that's okay. But I definitely have had some pushback. I think people don't understand it yet. And I think once they see the longevity with it and they realize I'm still doing this in a year, there'll be more questions asked.
You're 100% right. And that was kind of the little, I don't know, tip that I was going to pass along or whatever is, they're just going to sit back and watch. But eventually, it happened to me. I get people who I used to work with in the restaurant industry or whatever. And they're like, they've probably been sitting back watching for a year. And now they're like, hey, Brian, so tell me more about this thing that you're doing. And now that you say it, I think you're absolutely right. I think it's the longevity, the fact that I've been doing it for 6 years, the fact that you'll be doing it, for years to come, I think is really what kind of validates the whole opportunity.
Yeah, it helps me push forward, on wanting to do things in scale and stay, continuing to learn and grow. And I do really put a lot into the books and the podcasts. And that's why when you guys had talked to me about this opportunity, I'm like, yes, everyone should be listening to podcasts have been so huge in my success. And so I just think having open conversations like this about growth and how people can move forward are super important. So yeah, I think these are the things that help people stay in this for the long run and really see it as a marathon instead of just wanting to be there for the sprint.
Cool. So we don't want to keep you away from your girls for such a long time. I know you're dying, probably getting to be with them. Yeah,
I think they're having a pretty good time right now. I haven't heard a peep, so they're probably loving the M&Ms that I gave them.
Nice. There you go. So Brian, do you have any last questions? Do you want to ask Em?
I think it was an amazing, just an amazing episode, and I really appreciate your time. One thing that we do here on this podcast is just to show our gratitude for your time and the information that you shared with our audience. Is to ask you, is there anything, Em, that you need from us, that you need from listeners? Anything you can think of? Any way we can help you out?
I mean, you can always follow along. I'm everywhere. I'm the affiliate. That's my TikTok name. And my Instagram is I'm the affiliate too. So I think really just following me there is wonderful. But other than that, just continuing to be positive and make sure that you are just being the most authentic digital marketer you could be.
Yeah, and just to be clear, that's great advice. But just to be clear for everyone, that is M as in short for Emily, EM, the affiliate. And you can find her everywhere. I promise you, it's not hard to find her. I was doing some research before this, and you're everywhere and easy to find. So we'll certainly do that. And I love your message about authenticity. So thanks again for sharing that and being so passionate about that.
No problem. Thank you guys so much for having me.
No, I appreciate your time. I know time is valuable, especially when when you spend most of your time with your family. So we really do appreciate it. And yeah, we would love to have you back in the future, hopefully.
Yeah, anytime. I love it. This has been so great. It's really nice to be able to talk about what I do, and just if I can help anybody, that's what I'm here for. So yeah, again, thank you for having me. This is wonderful.
Yeah, well, thanks again for coming on. Thanks to everybody who tuned in today. Make sure you share this, especially if you know some stay-at-home moms out there, because seeing the experience that my wife went through as a stay-at-home mom, I think this community can really help a lot of people, the community that you are creating, Em. So thank you for that. Thank you, listener. We'll see you all in the next episode.